Hi, I'm Bryan the Community Support Coordinator and the Installation Resilience Program Lead for Los Angeles Air Force Base. In 2011, the Air Force adopted the Personal Resilience and Risk Management Program called Comprehensive Airman Fitness, or CAF. CAF was developed to improve airman wellness in the 4 resilience domains of mental, physical, social, and spiritual. The Air Force defines resilience as the ability to withstand, recover, and/or grow in the face of challenges and changing demands. It's important for us to understand that we're not born resilient. We learn to be resilient through life challenges. The film you're about to see depicts real stories of life challenges told by the people who lived them. We'll learn about their experiences and see how they not only survived, but became stronger and more resilient in the end.
Why me, God? Why me? I thought I was on the right path.
I didn't know what to do because I've never been seriously injured or sick in my life up to that point.
I always felt like I'm holding it back, it's going to crash in on me. I felt like that all the time.
Growing up in a third world country, in a developing country, you don't have running water, you don't have enough to eat.
I had to have lots of rehab.
You either live or you don't live.
My body was telling me something's wrong, go find out what's wrong.
I cried for 6 months. I actually had to take medication to stop crying. I was crying and crying. All that pain of all the stuff that I'd never dealt with my entire life finally came crashing in.
Looking at all these challenges, again, everything is small if you take it one step at a time. You do it one day at a time, and before long you look back and you say, oh my God, I accomplished all these milestones I set out. And that's how you build up character, that's how you build up resilience.
The doctor came in and told me that there was a growth on one of my kidneys, my left kidney. It was mostly a little bit of disbelief shock because it was a chance catch, disbelief that at 41 years old having cancer, to how do I process the surgeries I'll be going through, the recovery. My boss's program director said you will do whatever you need to do, take whatever time you need. I had the referrals to specialists up at UCLA. I was seen by them within just a week or two after getting back. Confirmed, it's 90-some% chance of being cancerous. So they don't even do biopsies, they just recommend surgery immediately. At the same time, I started meeting with the clinical psychologist here in the clinic and worked through a tremendous amount of just all the different emotions. Not having any family local, it was all long distance family support, which took, thankfully, my office gave me whatever time I needed to work through this. And then I had my office come by for the 2 weeks I was home recovering, bringing food and anything else I needed. Because we caught it at such an early age, the surgeon afterwards said that this is something I'll never have to worry about for as long as I live. So it was a very intense 4 months, going from discovery all the way to surgery and recovery. It was a lot quicker than I expected for just getting everything I needed, but the clinic was there and kept calling me, making sure that I had everything I needed, that I received the referrals, that I was getting the care that I needed. It was, considering how tough the situation was, the support all the way across the board was what I needed to get through it. Removing all that, just removing all that stress from work was very helpful. The biggest thing again is to ask for help. Just relieves so much of the stress to allow you to focus on the situation, whatever that was, so you can address it.
I was born in Vietnam shortly before the Vietnam War ended. My story of resilience actually started early because when I was 2 years old, my dad was sent off in the so-called re-education camp by the communists. It's just a glorified name for prison, hard labor prison. So that's when it all started. You know, when I was 2 years old, I was without a father, and my mom took care of us, the three of us. I was the youngest. And that's when I learned about resilience. The thing about resilience is that it's not something that you are born with. You are thrown into it, and with a lot of support and a lot of love from families, from friends, and even from groups, you learn to deal with it. Financially speaking, we were poor. In social standing, we were pretty much like third or fourth class citizen because under the communist system. Nothing came to us easily. We had to earn it. I'm saying this because we take a lot for granted here in America. So eating and having a roof over your head is a number one priority. You've developed this will to live and this will to survive and to prove everybody else wrong. And so I remember one of the vivid memories I have is sitting with my mom on the side of the street selling knickknacks just so that we can have money and to live to see the next day. But all of that experience, and now that we talk about it, it's all in the past, but it helped build me, build my character, and it helped me value life, value what I have in life a lot more. It didn't just end there. Resilience is something, like I said, you learn to live with, you learn to deal with it, and when you come out on the other side, it's a gratification. It's the greatest feeling that you have, because now you've proven to yourself, you've proven to friends, families, you've proven to society, to the doubters, that you can overcome adversity. When my dad came back from prison in 1978, we immediately applied for a way out, to go back to become refugees, political refugees. So we applied in 1978. It took us 16 years in 1994 to actually get the visa to come to America. Thanks to my parents, thanks to the support system, with families, we actually did really well. My two older brothers and I all got into college, and we almost had to ace the matriculation exams in order to compete with the first class and second class. So again, it's the drive in us to prove everybody else wrong, that we can do this, despite all the discrimination. So 2 years after I came here, I decided to enlist in the Navy because the Navy said, you join the Navy, you go see the world. And I wanted to see the world after the first taste of being able to fly from Vietnam here. So I signed up, and that's another milestone in my life because when I reported to a boot camp, pretty much I did not understand a word that was being spoken. Throughout your life, you would never know who would come to your aid to help you. And in my experience, just a random person walking past me, recognizing my name, and then we developed this friendship and mentorship for the past 20 years. Every time I had a problem, I turned back to him, besides my parents, of course. You're not an island on yourself. That's only in your mind, because you think that, oh my God, in the difficult time, I'm all alone. But if you can reach out to someone whom you trust, or if you don't have that person, then the military itself or the organization that you belong in is that second family, because you spend so much time at work. So reach out to them. That's what I learned in my, throughout my life is to reach out and to speak to someone.
Anybody looking in on from the outside would think I was the all-American kid, but really wasn't the all-American kid. Both my parents were alcoholics, and my father was a passive alcoholic, my mother was a raging alcoholic, and as a matter of fact, she never told me she loved me, she never said anything positive to me. She told me I was no good, I was a loser, I was a hellion, get out of her sight, she was going to send me away to boarding school. That's pretty much what I heard my entire childhood, and when I was 12 years old, she died of alcoholism. I used to hide under the bed when my parents fought, and it didn't feel normal to me if they weren't fighting or throwing things or hurting each other. After my mother died, my father basically shut down. He died emotionally and never really parented me. He just sat there on the couch drinking beer, smoking cigarettes. I think he was probably depressed, in shock. But For a girl 12 years old getting ready to turn 13, that was kind of, I needed a parent, and I didn't have any, really. He was there, he provided a roof over my head, but that was about it. So I basically had to grow up on my own and didn't do such a good job of that. I ran with the bad crowd, I dropped out of high school. When I was 16, I dropped out of high school, and I was basically heading down the loser's path. Came home one day when I was 18 and found an empty house and a note of eviction. My father had packed up and moved from Texas to Florida. Didn't leave me a forwarding address. So I had no family, no place to live, no place to lay my head. And then one day I saw this commercial about the Air Force. Air Force, a great way of life. And okay, that sounds like an adventure. I got my GED, I joined the Air Force, and that basically turned my professional life around. I got my college degree, I got training in the contracting career field, I got a lot of awards and decorations. I was doing awesome. But the fact that I grew up with alcoholic parents, I attracted that kind of drama into my life continually. So I would attract alcoholics, drug addicts, people who beat me up, who tore me down emotionally. One individual beat me up so badly that he actually choked me within inches of my life. I passed out, woke up on the floor, I was completely bruised, covered it all up, put my uniform on, went to work because I thought I was going to get in trouble. Unfortunately experienced sexual harassment and rape in the military. And I really think a lot of the things I experienced were because I hadn't done the work to heal all the mess from my childhood, and I brought that into my military career, and what I did was I just stuffed it and kept on going. Oh, okay, got beat up, brush it off, keep on going. But that stuff catches up with you eventually. If you don't deal with it, it's going to come and tear you down and tear you apart. It's going to show up in every area of your life. But I remember one day when I was on the ground sobbing my eyes out, and I pulled myself up and I looked in the mirror and I saw the problem looking back at me. Problem was me. That was an ugly day because I realized I could have done something all that time in the past. And wow, I sunk back down to the floor, I sobbed some more, but I did some things right then and there and started getting some help. I started working with counselors, pastors, coaches. I went to programs that dealt with growing up and living with alcoholics and addicts. I went and did healing modalities like yoga and massage and chiropractic and acupuncture. I did everything I could until one day that woman looking back at me in the mirror was a strong, powerful, beautiful woman I see standing before me today, every single day of my life. If you're going through something, you need to remember that you're not an island. You can't do it all by yourself. You didn't get there by yourself. You're not going to fix it by yourself. And you need to reach out to other people. The ability to make those choices, just one little slight course correction, can make all the difference in the world in your life.
I was 2 weeks away from reporting into LA Air Force Base as a second lieutenant, and I suffered a cerebral aneurysm. Basically, my vein in my brain exploded, and I had to have 4 brain surgeries and lots of rehab. And the Air Force said thanks, but no thanks. I had to resign my commission, and I ended up coming back into the government service under DCMA, and a year later into LA Air Force Base as a contract specialist. The brain aneurysm was hereditary, and it really changed my life in the sense that I was on a path, to be active duty, go into the Air Force. I had been enlisted for 3 years, so I was looking forward to being an officer and as a career. God had different plans for me. And I met my husband, got married, and now I'm a happy mom of a 2-year-old. I was pretty much, I don't want to say a vegetable, but I pretty much was. As I was recovering, I was going through the why me. But I had so much family and friends and so many good things happening to me that I really couldn't focus on the negative, especially the fact that I was alive. I was told I was 1 in 10, to actually survive an aneurysm. 7 out of 10 die in the first 24 hours. Example, my mother and my uncle. And of the 3 left living, 2 out of the 3 have a permanent disability. I recovered almost 100%. So I had a lot to be grateful for, and a lot of people who helped me along the way. I take every day as a gift. Yesterday, is the past, tomorrow's a mystery, but today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Look at what's around you. Look who and what is around you. While I was in a dark place for a long time, I could feel the love that was there.
It made me think that all these resources, they are set up for a reason. Along the way, the Air Force and the military itself takes care of its people. Those resources can be and are important, and they can make a difference.